It's time now to sample Yamaha's all-new, all-purpose sport bike, the FZ6. This 6 is based on Yamaha's very successful championship-winning R6, with a few slight tweaks thrown in to improve streetability. For example, the liquid-cooled inline-4 power plant is pretty much all R6, except there's revised cam profiles, intake tracks, and fuel injection mapping designed to improve the mid-range power and fuel consumption. Also like the R6, the engine is rigidly mounted as a fully stressed member to a die-cast aluminum frame that's free of welds and easy on the eyes. Mounted to the sleek frame up front, you'll find a 43mm cartridge Type 4 lifted straight off the FZ1. It's mounted with dual 298mm floating disc brakes. Meanwhile, out back under the catalytic-equipped under-seat exhaust, you'll find a new extruded aluminum swing arm that uses a new link-less rear suspension system. While you're down there, don't miss the R6 style deal. So how does the FZ6 work? Well, recently we invited a 250 Ninja rider named Danielle Franz to sample the FZ6. This is what she had to say after a day of twisting the grip and letting her rip.
So Danielle, we've had a bit of a sort of a naked bike shootout today, and it hasn't been ideal as far as the temperature. You know, it's been kind of cold and kind of damp, but we expect that here in May. But you've been pounding around for about 3 years now on your Kawasaki 250 Ninja. This is certainly a big departure. What were your first impressions?
It's a big machine. It's beautiful. It's a really nice silver bullet.
Yeah?
Aesthetically, it's gorgeous.
So you like the look. What was your first impression when you rode it?
It's a bit of a stand-up for me, which was great. That was a bit of a different feel. The acceleration point, the throttle was unbelievable. First gear, boom, and you're flying.
Yeah.
Really a lot of torque involved here.
You like the power?
Power is amazing. It's a bit scary at the forefront, but because it's so smooth and the transition is really easy, it's a great upride. Turns are great because you're at a bit of a standing up angle. I really enjoyed riding. It was excellent.
What do you think of the look and the color and all? Your first comment this morning was, it's not blue.
Yeah, I like they come in blue and silver, right? So I like the blue, but the silver is a bullet, and I really like the clean look. It doesn't have the fairings, so I guess it's the naked body, that's what they call it. Looks really clean.
How did you find the clutch and the shifting and all that stuff?
It was fairly smooth, but because I do have small hands, I found it was difficult. Let's say if I'm making a left or right, it was hard to transition and do that at the same time. The braking was no problem. It's just, you know, it's a big machine, and I generally, if it isn't geared towards my particular hand size, then I have a difficult time with that. But
did you find you were getting wind protection from the screen?
Absolutely, the fairing was great. This is definitely, I'd say, more of a long riding bike. It wouldn't be something that you'd want to do split. Just, it's a cruising bike. In other words, if you want to do a long tour, or let's say you want to have somebody on the back, then it's a comfortable ride.
Right. How did you find cornering? I was a little worried about the height for you, and you had to do a lot of U-turning today for our cameras, and then you had, you know, the opportunity to put it through some corners as well. How did you find the handling and moving around of the bike?
Well, the center of gravity is different with a bigger bike, but no problem turning. At slower speeds, it is easy to turn as long as you turn your head properly, right? But at the same time, it was difficult because I have, I'm shorter, I'm 5'6", so in terms of having the bike lowered a little bit, maybe it would fit my standards a bit better.
What did you think of the dashboard and the cockpit layout, this new sort of single all-in-one gauge? What did you think of that?
Great technology. You've got everything right before you. You have your fuel gauge, you've got your temperature gauge, you've got your tachometer, you've got everything right in front of you. It's all digital, it's great.
Motorcycling is all about a look and a feel and a sound. What about the sound?
No problem when changing gears. You didn't really have to look down. You could listen to the sound and you knew when to change the gear. It was smooth, it was very smooth.
Was there any vibration or anything that bothered you?
Smooth. We went over a couple of bumps. I didn't feel a thing. It was a real difference from what I've had ridden in the past. Anyway, it was very smooth, soft ride, no vibrations on that I could detect.
Was there anything you didn't like?
I guess just the tank, the height of the tank. That was the only uncomfortable positioning for me. Everything else was great. I mean, even I had enough flex in my arms to turn properly, so got no real complaints, to be honest.
So who would you recommend this bike to?
I guess someone, if we're talking ladies, someone who's at least my height or taller, otherwise have it lowered. Someone who's interested in long travel. It's a fun bike to ride for long distances, I'd say.
At the end of the day, were you happy you rode the bike, or?
Absolutely, gets my 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
Considering I'm like a sport rider, it's a good bike. I would even consider buying it if it was lowered.
Just get it squatted down a little bit. Okay, well, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks, Dave, for having me.
Glad you
really
had fun.
Appreciate that.